Countdown is on. Hello, everybody. I'm reading your comments. Countdown is on. Is that countdown? No, don't think it would be, would it? No, sorry, showing my age here. How are you all? Look, long sleeves. It's cold. We're in Melbourne in January. It was sweltering hot yesterday. We were dying. We had the air conditioner on. We had fans going. Today we're in long sleeves and a jumper. Go figure. 41 or 42 in Sydney. The rest of the country is sweltering. We're freezing. Anyway. So, school goes back next week. And when school goes back, that means mums, dads, grandmas, aunties, uncles, granddads, carers, kids are packing lunches because the alternative is to buy them. And I noticed Margarita mentioned that, I know, was it Margarita? No, I don't think it was. Sorry. Oh, no, it was Margarita. Sorry. Don't mind me. Mentioned that canteen lunches are really expensive. Yes, they are. Ouch. When we had 3 kids at school, and 1 child at school, then 2, then 3, they were allowed to have tuck shop once a week. It was a special treat. I budgeted for it. It was in the school budget, along with the books, fees, the school uniforms, the excursions, camps and things. There was a tuck shop component. We were blessed in that Granny and Grandma would sometimes pay for that for them for the term. Huge blessing to us. I was also, I think, when they were in primary school, blessed that they pretty much had the same thing every week. Boys would have a veggie burger. Hannah would have a cheese and veggie roll.
Or party pie.
Or a party pie. And that was it. Sometimes they might ask for a python, but not often. Anyway, then they hit high school and it became a whole different thing. High school. I was used to the primary school canteen where the choices were limited and reasonably healthy. They went to high school where the choices were broader. Healthy foods did not come into it at all, even though the tuck shops and canteens were supposed to be under this. We have here in Victoria the healthy canteen program where there's foods are supposed to be nutritious. Well, sorry, sausage roll in a roll is not nutritious, but anyway. So once it hit high school, it was the same deal. They could have it once a week, but I only budgeted $2. If it cost more than $2, they had to pay for it themselves. And if they wanted tuck shop any other day, they had to pay for it themselves. I thought that was fair. They were older, they were teenagers, they had their own money. So I thought that was fair. But the rest of the time, we packed lunches. Again, really easy. Sandwich, piece of fruit, mini muffin, that was it. We kept it simple because, especially when kids are little, you start doing prep or kindergarten, they're young. They can't eat all their lunch in the 10 minutes that's allocated for them to sit and eat lunch. And they want to go and play. And if you've got a school where the rule is you have to sit there until your lunch is finished, that's agony for little people. And while from the proud mummy moment point of view, packing a lovely lunch box that's full of, let's see, have I got one here? Yes, I have got one here. Look at this. Just been through a couple. You've got a lovely lunch box and it's got a lid on it. And that lifts up and there's bits in there and you pack them with sandwiches and stuff. Then you've got this bit over here that you can put other little bits, fruit or veggie sticks or whatever in. And then this bit over here, this was a neat bit because there's 2 little round containers that are in my junk drawer at the moment that you could put yogurt in or whatever and pack them there. That is a huge meal. That's a meal for an adult, not a little child, a small child at school. I always figured it was better to fill them up in the morning and give them loads of breakfast and fill them up with protein. We usually had some form of protein and some carbs. Protein is really essential, especially early in the mornings for good brain function. Carbs obviously give you energy, and when you're little, they burn it off. Fill them up in the morning with a really good breakfast, a medium, moderate lunch, and then when they got home, we had afternoon tea. Because filling that up with food for a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old or even a 12-year-old, that's a man-size, if not more, meal in there if you do that. And chances are most of that will either come home, in which case you'll see that it's coming home. You'll still have to bin it because it's been out of the fridge. It's been in a hot, stuffy school bag all day, so it won't be able to be eaten. Or it gets dumped in the rubbish at school and you don't know what's eaten. So when you pack school lunches, think about things like that and think about the appetite of the child. If they were at home, would they normally eat that much in one sitting? If the answer is no, don't think they're going to do it at school, because they won't. And you will just be wasting time packing a huge lunch and throwing your money in the bin. And we don't want that. Anyway, so, I need to learn how to type. I can't spell. Sorry. Okay. Don't spend a lot of little children, even very little children, can pack lunches. Most schools will give you a guide of what to put in a lunchbox. Our kids' primary school, they had in the mornings they had brain food, and brain food had to be either fruits or vegetables. Couldn't be anything else. Now we lucked out in that our kids would eat fruit or veggies. Hannah always took, she would take carrot sticks or celery sticks or capsicum sticks, cherry tomatoes, things like that. She would take for brain food in the morning. Perfect. Did not mind that at all. For lunch though, it was only ever a sandwich or a half a wrap. Because remember, she's only 5 when she started school, little person. Half a wrap with maybe a small mandarin, or she liked plums. She loved plums, so if I could get a plum for her, it would be a plum, something like that. And that was enough for her for lunch. The boys were pretty much the same, with the addition of a mini muffin. And when I say mini muffins, my mini muffins are mini muffins. I used to make them in the chocolate papers. Instead of a cupcake paper, the little chocolate papers. So they're about the size of a 20-cent piece, maybe, in diameter, little tiny muffins. And they will get one of those. Now, that was really good because it meant one batch of muffins made about 60. They were just amazing for stretching things. It meant that they got their sweet fix. She's gone and got some for me. There we go. These little ones here. These are from Coles. 100, they're about $2, something like that, $1.80 or something. It doesn't say the dimension, but they're really tiny. They're little. They're perfect for lunch boxes, for treats for little people. It turned out Thomas came home after a couple of weeks and asked if he could have extra muffins for his friends. So I had to ring their mothers and speak to their mothers, and they were quite happy if, they didn't have any objections. So Tom would take 2 extra muffins and share them with his friends. So, but they were little. Because they're little, if they were regular size muffins, half of it will go in the bin and it will be wasted. So it's not worth doing it. So we've got everyone here now, lots of people here. Hi, Barb. Hope you're feeling better. Hello, Kathleen. Jasmine. Hello, Pamela. Narelle. What are we looking for? Joy's on.
I wonder if she's back on that still Thursday.
Just thrills me to bits. Joy is actually out of the country and watching us, guys. How exciting is that? Outback 6, Yvonne, Lynette. Okay, we've got quite a crew here tonight. Now, the rules for packing school lunches are the rules for packing your work lunch or your husband's work lunch, or if they pack their own lunches, and trust me, if they're happy to do it, let them do it. The same. Don't overpack it. Don't overfill it, because it's just going to be wasted and it's a pain. Now, one other thing is choosing the right container for the lunch. Now, I showed you this fancy doobie thing. This is Wayne's. We also have this huge thing, which is one of the nude food. It's enormous. It's about the size of a loaf of bread. Nude food containers. Now, it came with a whole stack of boxes and things that fit in it. I don't use it for Lunchbox anymore. It's far too big. We bought it for Wayne, I think, but I actually use it for a cake tin. When I make a loaf cake, it fits in there perfectly. Think about the container, the size of the container. Little sandwich size container is fine. This is a decor one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's actually a microwave. It's just got the microwave lid on it, this one, but there are sandwich ones. It's a sandwich size. It will actually hold 2 sandwiches. For older kids or adults, it will hold 2 sandwiches. It's fine. This thing, I loved these when the kids were at school. This was Tupperware, I think. Tupperware? Yep. Tupperware. It's a round roll container. It was brilliant. And it would hold, I'd cheat, because when they're in primary school, they got a dinner roll, not a full lunch roll, a dinner roll. So it would hold the roll and some fruit, so some grapes or a plum or apricot, something like that, in there in the container, school bag. And because they're hard, lunches don't get squashed. In winter, they had thermoses. This is a fairly new one of Hannah's. This is a steamer, but it's microwave safe. So soups and things, depends on your school classroom policy, whether they can have something that heats up, but that's really brilliant. And that wasn't expensive either, was it? A couple of dollars? $4 or something, yeah, not much. If you don't want to do the lunchbox thing, oh, one more thing I have to show you. These things, love these. Best lunchbox invention I've ever bought. $1.99 each from Aldi, and they have them at the moment. And it's actually a wrap container. So instead of trying to wrangle a wrap into Glad wrap or greaseproof, they are brilliant. And it will actually hold 2 full-size wraps with salad and cheese and meat and whatever on. And I use those for Wayne. Now, we've got a few of these because some of them live in our picnic basket for when we're away, because I make our lunches in the morning, pop them in there. They're brilliant. We use wraps because bread goes soft. Or there's these things too. And these are
wrap bags.
Actually, if you're not too concerned about waste, although they can be reused. So it's just a zippy bag for a wrap. Bring them home, get the kids to bring them home, turn them inside out, wash them, pop them over a glass and let them dry overnight. They're ready to go again. They don't need to be binned straight away. Traditional sandwich bags, I just tip them out. There they are there. These were just cold ones that we picked up. They're really cheap. Anything that will seal will keep the food fresh. And of course we need ice bricks. So this is just one I pulled out of the freezer that fits in a lunchbox. We had a whole heap of these little squishy ones to keep things cool. There's the big square ones. That's your packing your lunch. What do you put in your lunch? Depends what's in your fridge or your pantry, doesn't it? It depends what your tastes are. Like I said, my kids are easy. And we had a pretty set routine because Monday was tuck shop. Tuesday would be a sandwich of some sort. Wednesday might be a roll or a wrap. Thursday was usually a pizza muffin, a muffin pizza, which is just and all I used to do was split the English muffins, spread them with tomato sauce, just good old Heinz or Rosella, sprinkle some mixed herbs on, put a slice of cheese on it, pop it under the grill in the morning to melt, and then just wrap it in a little bit of foil and put it in their lunchbox. Easy, 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 simple. And they love them. They still like muffin pizzas. Although these days, because they're tasted a bit more sophisticated, they add more to them. But really simple things. If I didn't have muffins, I used scones. Cut the scone in half if it wasn't too big. If they were the really high scones, I cut them in 3, did the same thing. Tomato sauce, herbs and cheese, and did those. Just plain savoury scones. If I had cheese and chive scones, they would take those, butter them and put Vegemite on them or peanut butter. They were happy. They were easy things to do. So I would pack things like that for them. Oh gosh, okay. Lisa, the wrap bags, those ones are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now our Coles has downsized considerably their wraps and bags and things to about 2 shelves that are about, I don't know, 4 feet wide. So there, anyway. All right, now, right. So I have a list. I'm just going to read through it. I'll put the link to it underneath after the show. This is a tip sheet I did up a couple of years ago with Lunchbox ideas. Start with some sort of bread base or grain. So it might be tortillas, it could be muffins, it could be bread, it could be wraps, it could be pita bread, could be scones or focaccia, something like that. Pancakes. What else have I got? Anything like that. Crackers. So you've got a base to build on, and then you can add to it. So the toppings could be something like hard-boiled egg, peanut butter if your school allows it. Peanut butter is really nice. If you thinly core an apple, then slice it really, really thin. If you've got a mandolin, slice it on the mandolin and put it with peanut butter. Yum, really good. Or peanut butter and celery, or even apple and celery is really nice too. Chicken, leftover cold roast. If you've had steak or chops or sausages and there's leftovers, slice them, put them on the bread, some lettuce, some chutney or some pickle or some relish is really tasty too. You can do ham and cheese. You can do little kebabs on sticks if you want to go to that much effort. Again, before you put the effort in, and I don't want to sound mean like I'm a mean mother, but before you put the effort in, think about whether it will make a difference to little Johnny if his ham and cheese is just in cubes in his lunchbox or if it's on a stick. If it's really going to make him happy to have it on a stick, then by all means, if you have the time, put it on a stick. But don't put it on the stick if he's not really going to appreciate it. It's just going to be eaten the same way because you're just using more of your time that you can do other things with. Noodles are always good. Spaghetti, leftover spaghetti, and it can be spag bowl or it could be pasta bake. Cold pasta bake is delicious. Cold pasta bake is really good. Tin spaghetti on sandwiches is fine. If it's cold, it's not. It's still quite solid, so you don't have to worry about that. It could be sliced meat just rolled up and packed in a row with some cheese slices and some tomato wedges or little tomatoes. I always thought when the kids were at school, little tomatoes were better because you could just put them in whole and then they didn't go all soggy and irky. Cheese sticks, don't buy them. Just get a block of cheese and cut them. Yogurt in little tubs. Hard to say. You can spend the money and buy the little tubs of yogurt individually, but that's really expensive. If you make your yogurt, you can buy El Cheapo containers and hope that they come home. And seriously, it's just a matter of reinforcing into the child's mind that that container has to come home. The spoon has to come home. You might like to go to the op shop and get a whole heap of them, so that if they're only 10 cents each and it doesn't come home, it's not as disastrous as losing a $5 one or something. I did that with teaspoons. When the kids were in primary school, went to the op shop, bought, I think, 2 dozen teaspoons, because every now and then the teaspoons wouldn't come home, and that's just... Then we moved on to plastic spoons because we suddenly had a whole heap of plastic spoons. So cheese slices, another thing you can have. But they're all things that are easy to do. And they're all things, best of all, you notice, they're all things that can be done ahead of time. So if you're really busy during the week, you might work outside of your home. You might have little ones at home that you're looking after. You could do both. You could be all over the place, whatever. These are things that can be done on a Sunday afternoon and popped in the fridge, and everyone just packs their own lunchbox in the mornings. They get one of the sandwiches, something else. Take it and do. Okay, so right. Jasmine, some schools will allow peanut butter. Our kids' school allowed peanut butter. Our eldest son is allergic to peanuts. We have peanut butter in the house. We are really, really careful, but so is he. And we have taught him to be, from when he was very little, to be really careful around peanuts, anything that might have peanuts in it. So some, and his school, the primary school allowed it, and I think high school did too, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joy said the school that she works at has a policy of educating rather than banning foods, unless it's a severe allergy, then it's just the class that's banned.
Yeah, that's really good. I think AJ was allergic to eggs, peanuts, and sensitive to grasses and stuff. So he knew to not go barefoot in the grass. We taught him to not go barefoot in the grass. We taught him, if it was a new food or he was somewhere, might be a birthday party, school friend's birthday party, we taught him to ask before he ate anything or before he even touched it, are there peanuts in it? Has it been near peanuts? Because peanuts make me sick. I am allergic to peanuts. We taught him from when he could talk. We taught him that. The same with eggs. To get over it for school, for cakes and things, I just made eggless cakes and froze them and sent them to school for birthdays and stuff at the beginning of each term, so that when they had a birthday in the class, he still had a cake to go to have with it. So we taught him, and I think we didn't teach him to be afraid, we just taught him to ask. And he's coming up for 29, 30. He's 29, he'll be 30 soon. And he still asks if he's not sure. If he goes somewhere and he's not sure, he asks. It empowers the child and gives the child the control, so that they can then say no thank you. And if they're not sure, teach them. If they're not sure, to say no thank you. I'll pass on that, or I don't want it, I won't eat it, or whatever. But just, yeah, I agree with Joy. Education is much more powerful than a flat out ban. Jasmine, sometimes education doesn't always work, but education doesn't always work with smoking or drinking or speeding. So, how many times have we heard, smoking kills, speeding kills. Don't drink and drive. People still do it. Not that they're uneducated. They have a brain. They have the ability to make a choice, they make the wrong choice. So, yeah. Bees. That's what it is, bees. He hasn't been stung by a bee for ever. Only once. And that was the most frightening thing in my life. So, okay. Yeah. See, Margarita's taught her son to be careful too. I have to tell you, it was really funny. When Alan was in grade 1, he was only 6, he was in grade 1, and they were having a special fundraising lunch day at school, and they were having hot dogs, and these were vegetarian hot dogs, and I just sent the dollar along and with the envelope and ticked it and whatever he could have, because I knew he could have them. Anyway, he wouldn't eat it. He didn't understand what it was. He wouldn't eat it. And his teacher was trying to explain to him it was all right. It wasn't a meat hot dog, so it didn't have any nasty chemicals in it. It was a vegetarian hot dog. It was fine. He'd be all right. And he just went, no, I can't. No, my mummy wouldn't like me to eat that. Eat that. And she said she could not convince him that it was all right. And in the end, it turned out she was saying vegetarian hot dog. He didn't understand vegetarian. We ate them at home, but we just called them hot dogs. It never occurred to me to explain to him it was a vegetarian hot dog. We just called them hot dogs, and we ate them at home. It was what we always had. He didn't understand the term vegetarian. So education from that point of view is important too. All right. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, I think we need to teach our kids. We need to teach the kids with the allergies. We need to teach the kids without the allergies too. But again, and you know, as for throwing cheese, kids are going to be kids. It could have just been a, it could have been a tennis ball that hit him. Kids throw things. So, hello, Kerry. You've had your hands full the last few days, haven't you? All righty. Okay, so some fruits and veggies to pack in lunches: bananas, apples, pears. Go a bit soft and squishy. So if you're going to do pears, try and pack them in a hard container so they don't get bruised. Bananas, little people either get the little lady fingers, but they're quite expensive. I used to cut the banana in half, leave it in the skin, just cut it in half, and pop some paper over the cut end to stop it going brown. It worked fine. Apples, I would cut the apple. I never peeled it, and I never cored it. My kids, from when they could,
except for when we got the apple slinky machine.
Oh, and then we got the apple slinky, yeah. From when they were able to gnaw on it, I just gave it to them. I was a mean mother. I did the oranges. I would quarter, but I left the skin on them. Mandarins, they peeled themselves. Grapes, I'd put into a little container so they didn't get squished, anything like that. You're paying for their retirement home, Kerry. So little things like that help. Just keep things nice. What else have I got on my list? Apricots, orange slices, peaches, nectarines, plums, grapes, melon, mango, kiwi fruit. I used to chop the core of the end off and give them, we had those little, I think we've still got them, little spoony things, and I taught them how to slide under the skin to get the kiwi fruit out. That always worked. Cantaloupe, watermelon, pineapple, strawberries, pawpaw were all fruits, or are all fruits that go well in lunch boxes. Now, most of those things can be frozen. So if you do freeze them, so I wouldn't freeze apricot, a banana. Look, it goes, unless you're going to beat it to make ice cream, but no. Banana, apricots, peaches, nectarines, and plums. I wouldn't freeze. Anything else freezes. And if you pack it in a container with an ice brick, it should stay for excuse me, I've got the hiccups now, should stay frozen till lunchtime, which means that it's like an ice block. Who doesn't love frozen grapes or frozen watermelon? Yum. Really good. Okay. Salad things. Hannah was our salad girl. She would take a container like this with salad in it. She loved it. Lettuce, tomato, little cherry tomatoes, celery, carrot sticks, a little bit of cheese, capsicum, cucumber. Give her a fork and off she'd go. So salad packs really well, but not just a green salad like that. What about potato salad? Leftover potato salad is good. Coleslaw, pasta salad, and on their own as a single salad, they're fine. Have those with some fruit and maybe a couple of crackers. That's not a bad lunch either. So you've got veggies then that you can do things like carrot sticks, celery sticks, little things like that work well. Zucchini and cucumber in chunks for dipping go well, and they're easy to eat. Things like that that are easy to pick up. Finger food always works well. Now, what else did I pack? Oh, if we wanted desserts or anything like that, sometimes it would be tinned fruit in a container. I had little containers. Some of them were Tupperware ones that I had from years ago, and some of them were just cheapies from the op shop with little lids on them. I hold about half a cup of, it might be diced peaches or egg custard, chocolate custard. I used to make the custards with So Good for them and pack them in their lunch boxes. I'd make it up in one big thing and then just pour it into containers and pack it in their lunch boxes. Sometimes they were okay for desserts too. Rice custard, cold rice custard, cold creamed rice works well as a big pudding. I'm just following the sorry lady, I'm reading the comments too. Raw carrot, never heard of raw carrot, but anyway. We have a friend who makes wraps. We call them Australian sushi because she uses mountain bread and she rolls it up and then cuts it into little pieces like sushi. They're delicious, aren't they? They're so good. So wraps are really versatile. That's another thing that you can add. Mountain bread is really easy. It's easy to use. I think it's easier than wraps because it doesn't tear as easily as wraps and it's not as thick and heavy as wraps, but it lasts on the shelf for a very long time. Mountain bread will last for 6 to 8 weeks on the shelf. It's a very good food. Okay, I don't know who that is. Yeah, okay. Popcorn, yep. All those snacky things. Lots of schools will issue you with a healthy eating, healthy lunch, happy lunch box. I've forgotten what we call it, the happy lunch box plan, I think it was. And it will come out in the first newsletter of the year. And I used to go through it and then I'd go, my kids won't eat all that. So we didn't have to worry about it. One of the things they used to love, and it was a treat because I used to be able to go to the factory outlet that wasn't too far away, was Lunchables. You know, Hannah's going, ooh, you know, the little containers, you've got a little thing of cheese and some little bit of meat and some crackers, and there was some sultanas or something in it, depending on which one you got.
Or like the nachos. Or
the nachos one, yeah. They loved those. And I used to be able to go to the factory and buy them. They were only open on a Friday, and you could get the seconds, and they were really, really quite inexpensive. So if we were going on a trip, I would buy them for the trip. Sometimes I would get them as a treat for during school term. But you can make your own. Because when I said don't buy cheese sticks, buy the block of cheese and cut it yourself. And one of the fun things to do is, and I didn't get them out, but slice the cheese quite thinly and use your biscuit cutters, your cookie cutters, to cut the shapes. Press out shapes. If you want to spend the time and be that kind, cut out the shapes. You can do that with the cold meats too. You can buy the knobs of Devon or Straz or chicken loaf or whatever if you're into that sort of thing. Cut them thin and cut out shapes with your cookie cutters. So it could be gingerbread men, or it could be love hearts, or it could be we've got some dinosaur ones. We've got squares and rounds and things too. So cut out the shapes and make your own Lunchables. So you could have some crackers, some saladas, or some Ritz, or what Eaton, I think is the Aldi brand, isn't it? Yep. Crackers like that, or some rice crackers, a little bit of meat, some cheese. You might like to throw in tablespoon of sultanas, or mixed dried fruit, or some M&Ms, yeah, or some dried apricots, or dried peaches, dried pineapple,
possibly some nuts.
Yeah, some almonds or some cashews, macadamias. Yeah. And put them into a little container, and that's their own Lunchable. They've got DIY, or you've got Mood Lunchables, and they probably would be half the price or less of buying them. I haven't bought them for a very long time, so I don't know how much they are. Yeah, they do still make them. But then that leads me to the dippets and things like that. Again, make your own. Buy the cheese spread, get some crackers, put the cheese spread in a little twist of baking paper. So cut a square of baking paper, probably, I don't know, 10 centimeters square maybe. Put a blob of cream cheese in the middle of it, give it a twist, put some crackers, get some Ritz or whatever, pita chips, whatever you've got, pop them into a container or into a bag, and that's it, done. Same deal with whether it's Nutella or peanut butter, again, because I'm one that likes peanut butter and two that don't. Vegemite, you can mix a little bit of Vegemite into some cream cheese, and that's the cream cheese spread, not the Philly cheese, the cream cheese spread for cheese and Vegemite.
They made it. It wasn't a success.
Yeah, but if it was factory made, it wouldn't be the same. Dips, you know, it could be French onion, it could be hummus, it could be cottage cheese dip, tzatziki, anything like that. Little container, some veggie sticks, and that can be a lunch. It doesn't. Lunches don't have to be the traditional sandwich and lump of fruit. So it will depend very much on what you like, what your child likes, how much time you have, how fussy you're going to be. But as they get older, they can pack their own lunches, so that helps too, as long as you have all the supplies there for them. It's quite easy. Ooh. Hello, Victoria. Yes, we are well. Okay. Okay, I lost. Pancakes are the other thing that you can do. Pancakes can be savoury, they can be sweet. Make a plain pancake. So my pancake is just self-raising flour and milk. And if I'm going to be sweet, if I want them sweet, I put in 1 teaspoon of sugar. Secret with pancakes, sweet pancakes, is you just need, you don't want them to be sweet, you just need to take that taste off the flour. So a teaspoon of sugar does it. And if you put any more sugar in, that's when you'll find your pancakes will stick to the bottom of your pan and they will burn. So because it's the sugar in them that's melting and sticking to the pan. So only ever a teaspoon of sugar in your pancake batter, and it will be fine. You want to make it a bit more nutritious, add an egg, and then it becomes pikelets. Pikelets with eggs or pikelets with eggs. So just throw in an egg, and it does that too. There we go. Hannah's listening to me. Corn relish dip, yes. So, okay. Kerry's raised an issue. Some schools are refusing to allow Ziploc bags or cling wrap. Okay.
It's already made, so you've got to use it.
It's already made, so you've got to use it. I didn't have this issue when my children were at school, but if I did now, I would be saying, thank you very much for your thank you very much for your suggestion, but, and I probably wouldn't even say but, I would say thank you very much for your suggestion. And if I didn't have lunchboxes to use, if I had Ziploc bags and cling wrap to use, that's what I would use. I would then be keeping an eye on how my child was treated for having that. And if they were being singled out, I would then have something else to say. Schools can make suggestions. Schools can't tell you how to raise your children. They cannot tell you how to live. They can make suggestions and say, as a school community, this is what we would prefer. But they cannot force you to do those things. So if that comes home from your school and you go, well, I've got, 300 lunch bags because I bought up at the beginning of the year so I wouldn't run out, then use them. You might explain to them that they come home and get rewashed and reused and rewashed and reused until they fall apart or whatever, or not. That's entirely up to you. But for a school to say, you can't send your child's lunch in a Ziploc bag would have me knocking on the principal's door. I was one of those mothers. I was, wasn't I? Yeah. Yes, I was. So zero waste is fine, and it's lovely in theory. It's virtually impossible to do. So, all right. Okay. Right, so, okay. Floss boxes for Lunchables. What are floss boxes? Sorry, Veronica, I don't know what a floss box is. Oh, yes, sorry, stranded cottons. Yes, sorry, I do know floss boxes. You know that I've got my cottons in with the little dividers in, the little pink ones. And
oh,
sorry, had a brain meltdown.
Yeah.
I was thinking dental floss.
Stitch box.
Yeah, sorry. Oh. Good grief. I wouldn't know how homemade foods, even if I supplied the ingredients. Yeah, look, okay. Problem is, folks, cereal pest. Oh, they just hated me. In the end, they just hated me and were glad that we left. Couldn't wait to see the back of us. So, all right. Sorry, I'm still reading these notes here, folks. Yeah, see, the school's policy at Joy's school is rubbish free. So again, if you send the Ziploc bag and it goes home to get washed, that's rubbish free. Okay. Now, I didn't use cling wrap. I still don't use cling wrap, and that's because I can't use cling wrap. It either
I don't think anyone can.
Sticks in the wrong places, or I can't get it to stick. So
then you can't get it undone.
And then you can't, yeah. So I've had the same a box of cling wrap for about 10 years.
Longer.
Probably, yeah, it probably is longer. Well, you guys were at school. I think it was one of the first
Big rolls
we bought. And it was a fundraiser at school, so I bought it. I'm still using it because it goes in the bin and it's a single-use thing. My kids aren't going to carefully unwrap their lunch and then fold it up to bring it home, whereas they knew they had to bring the bags home. They had to bring the bags and the spoons and the containers home. So that helped. I haven't got room in the fridge for cling wrap, Kerry. My fridge is full to overflowing of food. Yeah, there's Joy, there's different types of cling wrap. So there's plastic wrap and there's food safe plastic wrap, food grade plastic wrap. So while they are all sold as cling wrap or glad wrap's a brand name, but you know what I mean. Cling wrap's actually a brand name too, but cling film, that sort of thing, you need to check which one it is, because Hannah's seen something funny. What's she laughing at? Nothing? Because one of them's food safe and one isn't.
I wasn't laughing at that.
I don't know, Vicky. I don't know about teachers. I didn't look at the teachers' lunch boxes. So, but my idea here tonight is to try and make school lunches edible or eaten. Try and get your school lunches to be eaten and to get them so that they're not going to break your budget, so that you don't have to buy. I think it was Lisa mentioned fruit strips, fruit wraps, straps and things like that. What are they called? Roll-ups and stuff like that. I used to buy them occasionally, maybe once a term or something. I'd get a box between the three of them to share, and it never worked out because there was always 8 in the box. I had 3 kids. It was a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, you can make them. They're easy enough to make, and it's just pureed fruit. Spread it onto your, if you've got a silicone sheet, put that on your biscuit tray. You want a shallow edged biscuit tray, but it does have to have a bit of a lip on it, or baking paper if you don't have that. Line it with that. Puree your fruit. You don't need to add anything to it, just puree it. So blitz it in the food processor or the Vitamizer with the stick blender until it's nice and pureed. There's no lumps or anything. Spread it really thinly over the paper, and you put it into a slow oven, 120 degrees, like you do with meringues. Pop the door open with a wooden spoon in it so it stays open, and just leave it there. Now it will take a long time. It takes maybe 4 to 6 hours, depending on what the fruit is and how much moisture's in it and the weather. A whole heap of things play with the time, but you can make your own fruit leathers like that. When it's tacky enough for you, dried enough for you, and solid enough, bring it out, let it cool, and then if you've got a pizza cutter, use a pizza cutter to cut it, or kitchen scissors or something to cut it into straps. You can roll it up if you want to, like the roll-ups do in the little thingies. But they're really easy to do. If you have a dehydrator, you can get the liner to do them in the dehydrator. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the liner. I have an Allergy dehydrator, so I don't have the liner to be able to do roll-ups in the dehydrator, so I had to do them in the oven. Either way, they work. It works to do it like that. You can do peaches, you can do peach and pear, you can do peach and nectarine, you can do plum, you can do strawberry, you can do blueberry, it's very expensive, raspberries, mango, whatever you like. Tropical, so I used to do a mix of pineapple, and I would drain the tinned pineapple because I could never afford a fresh pineapple here in Melbourne. It was expensive. So drain the tinned pineapple and whiz it with mango or pawpaw or mango and pawpaw, whatever you like. You might want to put a little bit of passion fruit in there to give it a bit of flavour. Make sure it was really smooth, spread it on the tray and just let it dry. Ooh, banana maple syrup and chia seeds. I love chia seeds. Chia seed jelly is really nice. Now that's something you could send to school, chia seed jelly, and that's really easy to do. That's just, I do it in little, just in little.
Almost like shot glasses.
Yeah, almost like shot glasses. In fact, I think they are shot glasses that I got really cheap. So about a teaspoon of chia seeds, fill it up with fruit juice. Now, I love it with cranberry or pomegranate. Yeah. Pop it in the fridge, give it a stir, pop it in the fridge overnight, and the chia expands and it becomes very gelatinous, like a jelly. It's really nice. So that's really good. Okay. Good idea. Kathleen, whoops. Kathleen's got the Allergy hydrator. Remember this, Floss? And she brought tray liner from another brand and cut it to fit. I could try that, couldn't I? Fruit roll-ups, that's what they are, fruit roll-ups. Just pureed fruit that's been dehydrated. And fruit leather is another name for it. So, alrighty. So you can do that. What else can you do? Oh, mine's gone blank. Sorry, folks. Something else I wanted to tell you. Anyway, it'll come to me. So, some easy ways to pack lunch. I'm going to read them off my list so that I don't forget them. Have a lunch packing station. Now, I didn't have a lunch packing station as such, but all the wraps are in the one drawer. All the containers were in the one drawer, so that if they needed a bag or whatever, they could get it. If they needed a box, they could get it. They knew where they were. They all came at the same place. In the pantry, all the condiments were the same, so they were all in the one spot. The bread was always in the one spot. The crackers were always in one spot. So everyone knew where they were. So it was easy to go to them. In the fridge, same deal. Butter is always in the one spot, still is. Hard-boiled eggs are always in the container in that spot. So everyone knew knows where to get them. Condiments in the drawer of the fridge, so mayo or pickles or relish or anything like that, everyone knows where to get them. So they're all together, easy to gather when you're making sandwiches or rolls or whatever. If you keep them all in the same spot, it helps. Now, the other thing in this kitchen, it's been in every kitchen I've ever had, I've always had a breadboard on the bench, and it's always been above the cutlery drawer. So knives for spreading, spoons for dipping and that sort of thing are all there, handy and in the one spot, and that's where the lunches, rolls, wraps, whatever were made. Can't read it now. Oh, yeah. If you're going to do things like popcorn or rice crackers or pita chips and that, do them in bulk. And that just means pop half a cup of popcorn. That will make loads and loads of popped popcorn. Pop it into, sorry, Joy, pop it into a bag, zip it up, put it into, keep a box or a container or a shelf in the pantry where those snacks go. Same deal with the pita chips or the rice crackers and things like that, so that you've got one serve in a bag, and you can get the snack size bags. You don't have to use these big ones. Get the snack size bags, pop them in, and then it's a matter of, if you want your children to have a snack at school, they can go and choose popcorn or pita chips or whatever. They're in the one spot.
People use like the wardrobe dividers.
The wardrobe
the hanging
dividers.
ones.
All right.
Put
Oh,
the
like I
snacks
used to
in.
put your school clothes in.
Yeah, and they put the snacks in, but like the little pocket ones.
Oh, okay.
And they hang it up. So they do like the snacks for say that month, and they hang them up so they just the kids take it out each morning.
I was never that organised.
I know.
Okay. Okay. Fruit and jelly, yes, Barb. Bliss balls. Yum. Bliss balls, yep. Cool. Sultanas. Trail mix was another good thing. Now, there's trail mix and there's trail mix. So we like trail mix. Trail mix isn't so good, but no. So in our trail mix, we have coconut, sultanas, apricots. If I've got dried mango or something, it will go in. Might be glacé pineapple goes in. Sometimes some glacé ginger because we like ginger. Slivered almonds or crushed macadamias, something like that will go into it. Some choc chips or some M&Ms or things like that in our trail mix. In the trail mix, it's really boring because it's just nuts and fruit. So depends on how healthy you want to be. Now, when I say we put chocolate chips and M&Ms in, not a huge amount, just a few to break it up and make it nice. Trail mix is good. And again, you can decant it into the little bags and pop it in the cupboard. And it's the type of thing that will keep. It's not going to go stale. It's not going to go off. It will keep in your pantry. It's shelf stable. Right. Oh, Kerry's getting a whole room as a pantry. I have pantry envy.
No, not doing it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what nutritional is. Okay. All right. So she's winding me up, folks. I must be going overtime, am I? No. Yeah. So things like that. You can do. I haven't talked about drinks. Water bottles and drink bottles. Now this is this was a freebie.
Dad got it.
Dad got it. We've got a gazillion drink bottles. A couple of them we may have bought. Most of them have been picked up as freebies from promotional things or whatever, which didn't worry me at all because then if it got broken or didn't come home, I wasn't so upset. I have a shelf in the door of my fridge. I used to be able to line the drink bottles up, so there will be enough for the week. So I had 15 drink bottles at one stage, all lined up in the little freezer. Half fill them with water, top them up with water, pop them in the lunchbox. I only ever gave them water to take to school. Occasionally, it would be apple juice, but not very often, usually just water. When they came home from school, they had to bring their lunchbox out, put it on the sink, empty everything out, toss it in the dishwasher, and I just refill them and put them back into the freezer. So they always had a cold drink. In winter, they were only quarter frozen because otherwise they wouldn't be thawed by lunchtime, but they still just had water. Never cordial, never ever milky drinks or anything like that. Water with the very, very, very rare time it would be apple juice. That about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jasmine's mentioned the chia with the pudding. So you can use chocolate milk, strawberry milk, just plain vanilla milk, caramel, whatever you like. It works like that. But I just love the jelly. Coffee, yeah. Do a coffee pudding. But I love chia. I use a lot of chia. Okay, so Joy says when she was a guide, she made something I call scroggin Yeah, it's the same sort of thing as what we call trail mix, Joy. I like the one where you use the crunchy. We used to call it crunchy granola. I don't know what they call it now.
Crunchy granola.
Yeah, the baked
Clusters.
Yeah, clusters. But years ago it was just called crunchy granola, with clusters, with apricots, sultanas, shredded coconut, and chopped chips. And I think almonds we used to put in it. And I used to pack that off with the kids were going on a camp and hiking. That's what they took with them in their backpacks to snack on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the chia, Lisa, yeah, I just put it in little glasses and top it up with juice and bung it in the fridge overnight. And I usually have it for breakfast the next morning. It's really good. And at the moment I'm using white chia because that's what I've got, but you can use white or black. Nuts and bolts. Oh my gosh, every time I mention nuts and bolts, Kerry, people look at me like I am crazy. But nuts and bolts is a great snack. You can't get the packet cream of onion soup anymore, or not easily. And you can't get something else I was looking for to make it the other day, or before Christmas. And you can't get any more either, which is a bit of a pain. See, Joy used the crunchy granola, the clusters. Cool. Coconut milk, vanilla, and maple syrup overnight. That sounds really nice, Jasmine. Sounds really, really nice. Now, I used to tell the kids that it was a dessert and give it to them as a treat, the chia seed jelly. They didn't have to know it was me trying to, fill them up with good stuff. It was a treat. And because it was in the little glass, it was really super special. Yeah. Well, I'm getting there, Joy. Every day I get closer to being ancient.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. Alrighty. Okay, folks. I've waffled on and rambled about lunchbox ideas and all sorts of stuff. There's quite a lot in the Cheapskates Club about lunches. I did a breakdown a while back on comparing a tuck shop lunch to a homemade lunch, and with recipes and things. That's in there. I will put the link to this download for you if you want to download it. Might give you some ideas. Make school lunches a bit more exciting, if not for your child, for you. And I'll do that.
Born in the 60s, they're off for decades.
So I'll do that for you, but just give me a few minutes. It takes a while. Once we finish this is all got to do is buffering or whatever it is, processing, and then I can get to it and do the editing. So give me a few minutes. It'll be there. I'll link to this for you, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Happy Australia Day for Sunday. So if you're suffering from rain, our backyard was flooded this morning. It was very exciting. I know that sounds weird, doesn't it? But really, I was grateful for the rain. It was just lovely and cool. If you're suffering from the heat, I hope it goes away from you so soon.
Still I was talking about Mum Joy.
Okay. She was talking about me. Who needs kids? Only mad women have children. Only mad women have children. All right. Okay. I shall see you all on Tuesday. Have a nice weekend. And thank you for joining me. Oh, don't forget, if I've been helpful at all, thumbs up, please. If you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe. If you want to click the little bell, then you'll get notified when we're coming up live. And 40 next Friday.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't like 40. Narelle, Wayne and I are having a chuckle when he came home from work tonight. We were talking, said about the the red rain and everything. I said, oh, these city slickers just do not know what a dust storm is, what a dust storm does. And we were talking one Christmas Eve, he was out the back. Thomas must have just been a baby. So Alan was just 2. Thomas was just a tiny baby. And he was out the back mowing. I could hear, and the only way I knew he was out there was because I could hear the mower. I couldn't see him from the kitchen window. I couldn't see past probably about 3 feet in front of the kitchen window. The red dust was just so thick. I think that was the worst dust storm we ever had. But we used to get them all the time. The red dust would just rolling. It's awful. But anyway, so we were having a chuckle about dust storms and city slickers complaining about they didn't know why the rain was red. I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, okay. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Night, Joy. All righty, everyone. Yes, dust storms can be frightening, but, you know, it happens. Okay, guys, I shall see you on Tuesday. Bye.